Hi team, Miss Vaughn here to talk to you about what you're going to be doing with the sub today. Pretty simple stuff. Sorry I can't be here today. I am with Miss Charles interviewing new English teachers for Sequoia. But what I would like you to do is you have an article to read on translation, and then as we're transitioning from scope of language to perspectives of language, I want you to be thinking about that with the whole idea of being multilingual, kind of like hanging out in the back of your brain while you do so. Um, so to remind you all, last class, we ended with some discussions about some knowledge questions with language based on that Sapir-Whorf theory. You guys came up with great questions, and one question that I wanted to introduce to you today is going to be bridging this idea of, bridging the idea from scope to perspective with language. Una, Jamie, and Ashley's group came up with this question, but it's thinking about how if you do things differently in different languages, or if there's certain words that can never actually be translated into English, or when it does become translated into English, there's like a flaw in some of the translation, or like it doesn't translate directly. Like, what does that actually do to knowledge? Um, does it alter the knowledge from its original form? And does it also make it so maybe new knowledge cannot be produced if you're taking that away? So that's a consideration that I want you to have while you are reading that essay about what a translator actually does. The other consideration is that, like, when we translate, people often think of it as like one in, one out. That's why some of you had mentioned that when you use Google Translate, it's not as accurate, or that you know that it's not accurate. So is translation one in, one out? Or is there all of this knowledge about culture or maybe other things? I don't even know. Maybe you know better than I do. Are there other types of knowledge that have to be woven in to learning language and using language accurately? Okay, I just said a lot. Again, I want you to be thinking about language, and is translation as easy as one in, one out? Or are there other types of knowledge that you have to have in order to have a full and complete understanding of language? The other thing that I want you to consider is that when things do get translated and there isn't a direct translation from one language into, for example, English, are there things lost in that translation? Which I think that we can all agree, yes, that's why the expression lost in translation is real. But then the consequence of that within the scope of this class, I want you to be thinking about, like, what is the effect on knowledge in doing that? So there's an article for you to read, some notes for you to take, same business as usual, do a summary, do some knowledge claims, do some knowledge questions. And then I have a journal for you that has about 6 questions that I want you to consider as well. All right, be nice to the sub, be nice to each other, and I will see you. Oh, and if you can just sit in your general area of where you guys usually sit, the desk removed because of the testing, that would be very nice and maybe convenient for the sub who's relying on the seating chart to maybe help take attendance. All right, hope you have a good day. Email me if you have any questions. Tomorrow morning, we're gonna go over your guys' exhibitions, talking about some kind of mediocre examples and things that one would need to consider in order to make it better. All right, have a good day.